A stern warning to all coaches and parents. We are trending in a dangerous path to having our youth sports altered towards a negative side. Hello, everyone. My name is Nico Alexopoulos. I am the director for Central Jersey Futsal. We run futsal leagues, tournaments, and trainings. And today's video is simply a stern warning to all coaches and parents. We are trending in a dangerous path to having our youth sports altered towards a negative side due to the fact that the treatment of the referees has become or has reached an unacceptable level. Listen, we have all been guilty of not agreeing or not seeing eye to eye with the referee and have shouted at him or her. But currently, we are trending a very dangerous path to having youth sports, and particularly soccer and futsal, since I'm part of that culture, change forever. As you guys can see on the screen, I have pulled out a warning sent out by the New Jersey Youth Soccer Association that basically says, if you guys can read the top line, we have witnessed an alarming trend of referee abuse and referee assault allegations in the last 12 months. Listen, guys, ever since sports have existed, fans, coaches, players do not always see eye to eye with the referee. They are in disagreement with some of the decisions or calls that referees make. We're all guilty of that, including myself. But getting to a point of physical altercations and allegations by parents, coaches, even players is not acceptable. Years passed across the world. It got so bad that FIFA had stepped in and basically fined clubs, teams, ban spectators from events, and punish organizations of not participating in games, in leagues, or events. Because of this, they basically put it on the club to stop the nonsense of fans constantly assaulting referees, going after players, and basically conducting themselves in a behavior that's just unacceptable. And it seems that that trend has crossed the ocean and has infected our shores. Look, just because you think you saw something 40, 50, 60 yards away from the stands, which is different what the referee saw, who's only 5, 10 yards away, does not give you the right to verbally abuse the referee, to harass the referee, to even try to jump on the field and go after the referee and physically assault them. It just doesn't give you that right. Since COVID has happened, we're all frustrated. We have all gone through anxiety levels. But it seems that now it's that aggravation and that anxiety, it's picking up steam even more into our soccer fields. And it seems that almost we're looking to get our frustrations out through the sideline while watching a youth sporting event. Guys, we're training dangerous ground here. We're training times that could change youth sports forever. Think about this. You could start seeing basically local organizations start fining clubs, organizations, and it's not just the New Jersey youth soccer problem. It's every state across the U.S. So U.S. Soccer could come and mandate that if there's an altercation, there's a warning, and after that, the clubs, the teams are being financially fined. Maybe immediate press charges to the people that abuse the referee, verbally or physically. The next step is that the teams and the clubs are start getting banned from competitions for altercations. And the last step is that we watch our kids playing through a streamlined platform, because all events have no fans anymore. The fans are banned from competitions. They are not allowed to watch the games anymore. And if you think it's funny, there's a lot of things that we never thought that we would see happening in this country and are happening. And this could be the next step. Regardless if you agree with it or not, it could happen. It could change the way sports are being played in this country. Again, it's just a warning. In other countries, competitions happen at times where grown-ups are doing work hours and they cannot make those games. But FIFA has gone in the past to the extent to fine teams, fine clubs, ban fans from the the games, ban clubs and teams from international or regional events and tournaments, and press immediate charges with zero tolerance for any of this. Do we want to get to that point? I think not. We need to start advocating of better behavior. Well, we'll never solve the issue of disputed calls. There will always be mistakes in the game. Referees are human, and regardless how much we like it or we don't like it, there will be mistakes in youth sports, but that's part of the game. As coaches, we need to teach our players to overcome those mistakes that were made by a referee. We have to teach our youth to learn to overcome, to not let them affect their game, which happens all the time. And the players are getting those habits from the coaches, from the parents. We let ourselves get out of control, and our youth players are copying our behavior. We need to start advocating. We need to start putting programs into place where we teach our players to not be affected by that. Mindset. If you guys follow me, you know that we teach, and I teach mindset all the time. You cannot let what you cannot control affect your game and your performance. You cannot let the weather affect your performance. You cannot let the uncontrollables control your game. And the refereeing is part of it. A player cannot affect a bad call affect his or her performance. And that should be a lesson to be taught to parents and coaches. Have referees been so horrendous that have affected a game? Yes, it does. It happens all the time. But here's something else I want to tell you guys. Being the fact that I'm the director of a sports futsal league, and I come in contact with the state assigners to assign our referees, here's a quote that they tell me. Do you know why we have such a hard time having a high standard of refereeing? Because we lose our best referees. Because the best referees are quitting. Because they don't think it's worth for $75, for $40, for $100 to go through the abuse and mental anguish that they go with, and they quit. Or they just don't referee youth soccer anymore. They get their credentials and they stop playing at a, refereeing at a high level. So they're forced to assign referees that are not as good because there is a lack of referees available. So our behavior as coaches, as parents, as players can not only affect us financially, affect, the club or the organization from being banned, playing in empty venues with no fans, but it also affects the signing of the referees. The better referees are diminishing. So we're getting lower level referees that should not be refereeing certain games, but they are because out of necessity, they're being assigned. And it's just a tumble effect, a domino effect. That's what they told me. The number one reason why the standard of refereeing is dropping is because the better referees are quitting. They want nothing to do with youth soccer anymore, and they're forced to assign lower level referees that should probably not be center referees or refereeing a game at that level. That's it, guys. It's that simple. And then the parents get upset, the coaches get upset, the players get upset, and so on and so forth. So let this be a warning to coaches, to parents, to players. Let's come together and cut this trend. Let's be advocates. Let's be, set up programs where we can educate our players to not let the uncontrollables, which is this part, you can't control referees' performance. And please don't start, commenting, but this referee is against my club and this referee hates my coach, this coach, and this. Please, listen, we all know there is unacceptable. We all know in everything that we do, everything in life, there's an unacceptable exception to the rule. There are bad referees that should not be refereeing. And that's why there are state referee evaluators that evaluate performances of referees. And if they see that they should not be refereeing, they will take their credentials away and they will not be able to referee anymore. Those positions do exist. Are they a lot? No. You know why? Because there's just not enough referees to fill those positions, to fill the evaluations. Like I said, the good referees are giving up, they're quitting. Let's just do our part. Let's accept that there will always be mistakes. Let's accept the fact that you will never go through a game that it's 100% accurate. Just like, there's no such thing as a game that the player does not make a mistake. There's always going to be mistakes. Soccer is an organized game of chaos. It's an organized game of mistakes. I would like to say, do we blame the players for making mistakes? But I will hold myself to it because I know, and there's our incidents where parents and referees blame players for making a mistake, for causing a goal, for causing to lose a game, and so on and so forth. Those are the exceptions. Quality coaches, parents, spectators do not blame the players. It's a game. And it's not just soccer, everything, baseball, football, lacrosse. It's just a game that we get out of control in the heat of the moment of watching a game. We've got to constantly remind ourselves that it's a game. And we are all part of the problem. No exceptions. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, I've never done that. No, we have all done it. We have all crossed the line of yelling at our referee. Ref, what are you watching? What game are you watching? Are you kidding me? Really? And here's another thing. A big part of it is that spectators don't know the rules. They don't know the laws of the game. Heck, there's a lot of coaches that don't know the laws of the game. And FIFA has a lot to do with it. They're constantly changing the laws of the game. In my opinion, instead of simplifying the game, they're making it more complicated. They're leaving a lot of the decisions to the referee's discretion. And fans don't know this. And a lot of soccer coaches or futsal coaches do not know all the rules. and it's creating a big mess. How do we solve the problem? Just remind ourselves it's just a game. It is just a game. There will be another game tomorrow, next weekend, next week, and so on and so forth. That's it, guys. I hope you take my word for it.